Hi, I'm back. Yeah, it took a while. Sorry, but yeah, I'm back. Um, anyway, Matthew 26, the plot to kill Jesus. When Jesus had finished all these sayings, he said to his disciples, "You know that after 2 days the Passover is coming. The Son of Man will be delivered up to be crucified." Then the chief priests and elders and people gathered in the place of the high priest, whose name was Caiaphas, and plotted to get together in order to arrest Jesus by stealth and kill him. What they said, not during the feast, lest there be an uproar among the people. Jesus anointed at Bethany. Now when Jesus was at Bethany, in the house of Simon the leper, a woman came up to him with an asper flask of very expensive ointment, and she poured it on his head as he reclined at table. And when the disciples saw it, they were indignant, saying, "Why is this waste? For this could have been sold for a large sum of money and given to the poor." But Jesus, aware of this, said to them, "Why do you trouble for the woman? For she has done a beautiful thing to me. For you have always had the poor with you, but you will not always have me. In pouring this ointment in my body, she has prepared me for burial. Truly I say to you, whatever this gospel is proclaimed in the whole world, what she had done will also be told in memory of her." That's accurate. Judas to betray Jesus. One of the 12, whose name was Judas Iscariot, came to the chief priests and said, "What will you give me if I deliver him over to you?" And they paid him 30 pieces of silver. And at that moment he sought an opportunity to betray him. Yikes. The Passover with disciples. Now on the first day of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Jesus, saying, "Where will you have us prepare for you to eat Passover?" And he said, "Go into the city to a certain man and say to him, 'My teacher says, my time is at hand. I will keep the Passover at your house with my disciples.'" And the disciples did as Jesus directed them, and they prepared the Passover. When it was evening, he reclined at the table with the 12, and as they were eating, he said, "Truly I say to you, one of you will betray me." And they were very sorrowful, and began to say to him one after another, "Is it I, Lord?" He answered, "He who has dipped his hand in the dish will betray me. The Son of Man goes as it is written on him, but woe to the man whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It would be better for that man if he had not been born." Judas, who would betray him, answered, "Is it I, Rabbi?" He said to him, "You have said so." Intuition at the Lord's Supper. Now as they were eating, Jesus took bread, and after the blessing, broke it. After blessing it, broke it, and gave it to the disciples, saying, "Take, eat, this is my body." He took the cup, and when he was given thanks, he gave to them, saying, "Drink it, all of you, for this is my blood of the covenant. It is poured out for many for the forgiveness of sins. I tell you, I will not drink again of this fruit of the vine until the day that I drink it with you in my Father's kingdom." So yeah, that's the start of communion, or like why we do that ritual. Jesus foretells Peter's denial. When they had sung the hymn, they went out to the Mount Olives, and when Jesus said to them, "You will fall away because of me this night, for it is written, I will strike the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock will be scattered. But after I am raised up, I will go before you to Galilee." Peter answered him, "Though they fall away because of you, I will never fall away." Jesus said to him, "Truly I tell you, this very night, before the rooster crows, you will deny me 3 times. Peter said to them, "Even if I must die with you, I would not deny you." And all the disciples said the same. This would not be accurate. But yeah, Peter's so enthusiastic, and then sometimes he just isn't able to follow through. How often are we like that in our real life? How often am I like that? Lots. Jesus prays at Gethsemane. When Jesus went with them to a place called Gethsemane, he said to his disciples, "Sit here while I go over there and pray." And talking with Peter and the two sons of Zebedee, he began to be sorrowful and troubled, and he said to them, "My soul is very sorrowful, and even to death. Remain here and watch with me." And going a little further, he fell on his face, prayed, saying, "My Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me, nevertheless, not as I will, but as you will." And he came to the disciples and found them sleeping, and he said to Peter, "So could you not watch for 1 hour? Watch and pray, and you may not enter into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak." Again, for a second time, he went away and prayed, "My Father, this cannot pass unless I drink it. Your will be done." And then again he came and found them sleeping, for their eyes were heavy. So leaving them again, he went away and prayed a third time, saying the same words again. And then he came to the disciples and said to them, "Sleep and take your rest later on. See, the hour is at hand. The Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of his sinners. Rise, let us be going. See, my betrayer is at hand." Betrayal and arrest of Jesus. While he was still speaking, Judas came, one of the 12, with him, and with him a great crowd with swords and clubs from the chief priests and elders of the people. Now the betrayer has given them a sign, saying, "The one I kiss is the man. Seize him." Because apparently they wouldn't recognize Jesus. And then he came up to Jesus at once and said, "Greetings, Rabbi," and kissed him. I had to shake properly because that was a traditional welcoming. I don't know, but it's still like, did they not recognize Jesus? "Friend." And Jesus said to him, "Friend, do what you came to do." And they came up and laid hands on Jesus and seized him. Behold, one of those who were there with Jesus stretched out his hand and drew his sword and struck the servant of the high priest and cut off his ear. And Jesus said to him, Put your sword back in the place, for all who take the sword will perish by the sword. Do you think that I cannot appeal to my Father, and he will at once send me more than 12 legions of angels? But how then should the scriptures be fulfilled, then, that it must be so?" At that hour Jesus said to the crowds, "Have you come out against a robber with swords and clubs to capture me? Day after day I sat in the temple teaching, and you did not seize me. But all this has taken place that the scriptures of the prophecies might be fulfilled." Then all the disciples left him and fled. Almost done. Jesus before Capricius and the council. Then those who seized Jesus led him to Capricius the high priest, and where the scribes and elders had gathered, Peter was following him at a distance, as far as the courtyard of the high priest, and going inside he sat with the guards to see the end. Now the chief priests and the whole council were seeking false testimony against Jesus, that they may put him to death. But they found none. Through many false witnesses came forward. At last 2 came forward and said, "This man said, I am able to destroy the temple of God and rebuild it in 3 days." Sorry. And the high priest stood up and said, Have you no answer to make? What is it that these men testify against you?" And Jesus remained silent. The high priest said to him, I adjure you on the living God, tell us you are the Christ, Son of God." And Jesus said to him, "You have said so, but I am. But I tell you, from now on you will see the Son of Man seated at the right hand of power, coming on clouds of heaven." And the high priest tore his robes and said, "He has uttered blasphemy. What further witness do we need? Now you've heard his blasphemy. What is your judgment?" They answered, "He deserves death," because that wasn't the plan the entire time. And they spit on his face and struck him, and some slapped him, saying, "Prophesy to us, you Christ. Who is it that struck you?" And it's all of you at once. Peter denies Jesus. Yep, we're at that part now. Now Peter was sitting outside the courtyard, and a servant girl came up to him and said, "You were also with Jesus the Galilean." But he denied it before all of them, saying, "I do not know what you mean." And then he came out to the entrance. Another servant girl saw him and said to the bystanders, "This man was with Jesus of Nazareth." And again he denied it with an oath, "I do not know the man." After a little while, bystanders came up to Peter and said, "Certainly you are the one of them, for your accent betrays you." And then he began to invoke a curse on himself and to swear, "I do not know that man." And immediately the rooster crowed. And Peter remembered the saying of Jesus, "Before the rooster crows, you will deny me 3 times." And he went out and wept bitterly, because lest it was while he'd been told the truth, and the future still came to pass, no matter how terrible it was. Truly, that is the most terrible thing about the future. Even knowing it often does not change it, for you'll forget it until the future has come to pass. Anyway, yeah, we're well into the story now. Woo! Like 1, 2. Okay, these are really big chapters. Okay, the last chapter isn't so big. But yeah, only 2 more chapters. So, cool. I'm nearly done with Matthew. Matthew's got a lot of saying, a lot of stuff. Hopefully it's been good. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!